This is a video about repairing the Chamberlain Electro-Lift garage door opener. It's kind of an old one. Give you a shot of the model number here. So what happened was it stopped working. Started to hear clicking. A lot of clicking but nothing. Turned out, if you look up in here, I'll point to it, the starting capacitor for the motor was dead. It had an oil leak. So if you get the case off of something along this line and you notice that you've got an oil leak or you hear a lot of clicking, that's probably what's wrong. And start there. If you can hear the motor hum and nothing's happening, you definitely want to get after that. I replaced it with something I found in an old 220 volt motor. It really doesn't matter the value that much, just so long as you replace it. That's a good place to start if you just hear clicking. Now another thing is, this relay, it's kind of going to age on you. So you need to take a fine oiler and oil carefully, very lightly, the points of contact. There's one on the other side, there are about 3 on this side, including this trigger area. It should work smoothly. And I used a PTFT type lubricant with a long stem. Just a droplet, and work the relay back and forth. Unplug it when you work on it, incidentally. Now, the contacts are another thing. These contacts are probably high-end copper, possibly some silver content. So you take a nail board, unplug it first, put the nail board in between there, and go back and forth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not much more than that, because that will restore it. Blow it out with some air. Your breath will work fine. But same on the other side. There's a contact over there. And make sure it's clean. I took a piece of cloth and then ran it through there to ensure that it was clean. Now it's working pretty well. There's just one other thing that's wrong. This old time delay relay, which is actually thermal. So you get kind of an effect when the contact is first made. Let's just go ahead and trip it. You can see the light comes on and off if it's touching. This is not working, so you need to solder the fine wire back onto the edge here. It's hard to see, but there's a fine edge connector, and solder is going to melt. So actually there's a replacement, a soft, like a solid state replacement for this thing. And I'm going to go check that. But I don't need this in my garage. It's just I'm pointing it out that, it should be working, but it quit. But it's it's 40 years old, 45. Let's go ahead and take the remote and I'll show you. Let's take a look at the relay when we click it. Okay, here we go. And of course we should get the light at this point. We should get that, but we're not going to because the wire has been broken. Opening. And you can see it works very smoothly. That's about it. Be cautious. I have this actually plugged into a ground fault circuit interrupter. And you should do that, but unplug it whenever you work on it. Another point about the control box is it comes with this steel antenna wire that's supposed to go down into kind of like a socket. And it's not a very good connection, and in time this thing breaks loose. So all I did was disassemble the electronic side of it and carefully solder in there this loop of wire. And that's all it is. It's just a loop of ordinary connection wire. And it takes the place of this steel antenna that isn't very good. So I've noticed the reception is now quite a bit better. I thought the batteries were dead in the remote. Another problem with this old control box is that this switch goes bad. So I just soldered across it to just keep it always in the on position instead of the lock part doesn't actually work anymore. But that's not important. Just so you can keep these things going a long time if you do some very fundamental repairs. In case you're adventuresome enough to go ahead and replace this analog device, I guess we would call it, set of contacts with a solid state device. I'm going to provide some notes. I found a fairly inexpensive ICM 255. It's called a fan delay relay, or post-purge relay. And then this right here, this connector right here, it comes from the motor. It's the blue wire, and then there's a black wire here. This is supposed to go through here. The coil connects to there, and then when the motor is on, this thing gets hot and it bends downward to make the contact. I demonstrated that during the repair part of the video. And then this is this is the common, this is the other side of the 110 volt AC to the lamps. So I've got this diagram I've made, kind of just cut from their page. Definitely they would like to sell it to you. It's about, I think, 13 bucks. And that would replace the analog device you see here, set of contacts. I don't know that you want to go that far with it. I think I'm going to sort of tinker with it a little bit. But I did notice that you've got the existing 24 volt line, and you could probably just go ahead and use that. If it's a big deal to you, I mean, you definitely could do it.